Okay, so yesterday we touched a bit on the UI version of your Ansible. So we have Ansible Tower, we have AWX, which can be used when we talk about working with Ansible using a UI. But as a DevOps engineer, you'll be mostly working on the CLI version, which is what we have been looked at. But just so you know, there's no harm in knowing that you also have the UI version of your Ansible. Post that we started off with your build tool. So build can be used whenever you want to create packages, right? So whenever you want to create any deployable artifacts, so basically packages that can be deployed. So think of it as a package like an exe file which anyone can run and install the package, right? So likewise, so that's where we can make use of a build tool. So we looked at what is a build process, what are the different tools we have, and then we have started off with your Maven. So when we talk about your Java application, Maven is the tool that we used. So we've looked at different things. We've looked at what is Maven, why we have Maven, how your Maven works. We've looked at the architecture, the pom.xml file, which is the main configuration file, the life cycle of your Maven, the repositories, installation, that is where we had stopped, right? The last thing that we are going to look at is how can we use this Maven to build our packages, right? And so generally what happens under this is, so we have installed our Maven yesterday, right? So here I am a Maven. Now to get started with this, you need to first have the source code. Okay. So one option you have is you can use the source code that I have here in this repo. Under this Maven repo, you should be able to see. What we are going to do is we are going to use the existing templates. So Maven provides some templates which we can use to generate the project. So to generate that template, we can use this command mvn archetype colon generate. So what I'm telling here is I'm telling Maven that I have, please generate the archetype templates. So what this will do is this will give us a list of templates which are already available. So these are so you can see here, this is downloading. So if you're running this command for the first time, it will download this plugin, the templates from the central repository, and here is where it is getting the templates. So essentially, again, if you're doing it for the first time, if you remember yesterday, I told you that first it will check in the local machine. If it's not there, then it will download it from the central machine, central repository. And starting from here, number one, you have sample templates. So these are sample projects that we can use. So as of today, we have close to 3,351 projects. We can use any of these projects. By default, your Maven will select 2099. So if you go to that 2099, okay, so 2099, okay. So this is a sample Maven project. So it's a very simple Maven project. So by default, it selects that. If you want to change it, you can always change it. For now, we are going with that sample project. Okay. So we'll just hit enter. Then it will prompt us for the version. So we have 7 versions in this. Again, sorry, 8 versions. Again, by default, it selects the latest version, which in this case is your 8. So again, we'll hit enter. Then it will prompt us for 3 main informations. Okay. So what are 3 main information? So it will ask for the group ID. Then it will prompt us for the artifact ID. It will prompt us for versions. Okay, guys, just give me one moment. I'm getting a call. Sorry, just give me 1 minute. There's some fraud issue was going on since morning. I just need to respond to that. Just give me a couple of minutes.
Sure, Abhi.
Okay, sorry, back. Yeah, yeah. Since I mean, it's a holiday, but then we had a prod issue, and then I had to jump in, and it snowballed into a big issue. But yeah, anyways, sorry for that. Um, yeah. So coming back,
You usually get the Splunk call, right, automatically to your phone if something is wrong.
the Slack.
Slack automatic. The Slack will call you, right?
No, not us. We have the ops team. Um, so we have customer deployments. Okay, so that's the ops team takes care of that. Okay. Now, whenever there's an issue with any of the deployments, if they're able to figure it out, they will figure it out. If not, they will reach out to us.
Okay.
We had such instance today. We had, I think, 5 plus 8, 13 customer deployment failures. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it become a big issue. So there's a discussion going on around that. And I mean, officially, it's a holiday for us, so we're not really available to be to give the point. But then since I was there, I thought it's a known issue and we could fix it. But then it was a very different issue. We spent 1 hour, but still we weren't able to fix it. And now the other teams are involved and they're looking into us what happened, why did it take so much of time, why so many failures? Because this is 13 customers we're talking about, so that's a big number.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, that's what happening. But yeah, I mean, the DevOps team don't get the notifications. It's the ops team. So ops team is basically the first point of contact for us.
Okay.
And then if the ops team is not able to figure out, then we come in.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah. But generally, you will see that ops and DevOps, it's actually a single team, but here it is slightly different. We have a separate ops team and then we have a separate DevOps team. But generally speaking, we have the ops and DevOps working together, not separately, like how we are doing here.
Okay.
Okay, so coming back to this, yeah, so we'll have to provide three information. We'll provide group ID, artifact, and a version. So group ID would be like your project name or your organization name. Okay, generally it's a common name that we give. Artifact ID will be your application name, and then version would be the version of application. Okay, this is generally what we will have to do. We will have to provide. So group ID here, it can be anything. You can give whatever you want, but generally we give the organization name and then we give it in the reverse format. For example, if it is www.example.com, we would give com.example.www. Now, it's not mandatory that that is how you have to pass, but general practice is like that. Okay, we give the organization name or the department name in the reverse order. Okay, it's a standard practice. Again, like I said, it's not something that you have to definitely follow, but it's just a standard practice. Let me run this once again. Yeah, so hit enter. So we'll give the group IDs, let's say com.example.www. Your artifact ID, let's call this as hello world, your version. So default will be 1.0 snapshot, but if you want to change it, you can change it. So let's call it as 1.0. Package default will be com.example.w. We will leave it to that. Then it will ask you to confirm all the values y, and this will go ahead and create a sample project for us. So here you should be able to see a sample project. So basically you will have the source code and you'll have the pom.xml file. So if I go to this source, you have the main and test. So main is basically your application code. Test is where you will give your test cases. Okay, so if I go to this main, you have the Java, you have com, you have example, you have www, and then you have the code. So app.java, sorry, app.java. So here is the code that we have inside this app.java file. So it's a simple hello world application, right? So it's a template that your Maven gives you. Likewise, if you if you look at the pom.xml file, so here is what we have. So in a group ID, whatever you have given, you will see that artifact ID, version, whatever you have entered, you will see that information here. These are all some configuration settings. Here you should be able to see the dependency. So this particular project that we are using, it has a dependency on JUnit. So likewise, if you want, you can add your own dependencies. Then you have some custom tasks. So this is a sample project that we are using. So we have the source code. Now, how do we build this? So to build this, we simply run this mvn clean install. So remember the phases that we discussed in the last session. These phases. So this is what I'm running now. Install. I mean, I don't have to really do a clean, but I'll tell you what is that. But okay, so mvn install. All right, so what this will do is it will start the execution from here, validate, compile, test, package, verify, and then install. So it always starts the execution from the top. So if I run test, it will run 1, 2, 3 tasks. If I run deploy, it will run all the tasks. So, based on how many phases you want to run, you'll be running the command accordingly. So now if I run this mvn install command, again, if you're running this command for the first time, this will download a lot of things. All right, and then it will start building our package. So give it some time. Like I said, if you're doing it for the first time, it will do a lot of things, but let it be. I will run this command once again, and you'll see this time it will be much faster. And yeah, so this time it was much cleaner. So let me show you. So starting from here, so first it is preparing all the resources. Okay, then it is doing a compilation, then it is preparing all the test resources, then it is compiling my test cases, then it is running my tests. Okay, so here you can see test run, how many failures, how many errors, how many skipped, all those things you should be able to see. Then you should be able to see the package that we are creating, so jar in this case, then install, which is to store this package on your local machine. So it will also tell you the location where it is storing the jar file, and then finally the output. So whether the build was successful or not. So in this case, the build was successful. So in this case, what it has done is whenever you build your package, it will create a new folder for us, which in this case will be target. And in the target, you can see there is my package that we have created. Obviously, there are many other information, but this is the main thing that we are looking at. Does this make sense?
Yes, Ravi. Next phase is deploy phase, right?
Correct. So deploy, what it will do is if you have a central repository like Nexus. So Nexus is something that we use as a central repository. So if you want to push your package to a central repository, we have the deploy. But in this case, if I run deploy, it will fail. Why? Because, so let me show you why it will fail. Because we'll need to provide the information about the central repository. So in this case, it will fail. Okay, so okay, and also to make sure that you run this command in the root directory where you have the pom.xml file. Okay, so let me run this here. And the deploy will fail. So you can see it is trying to do a deploy. Now why it failed? Because the repository element. So basically it is telling me, hey, you did not give me the information about the central repository where you want me to deploy this package. Okay, so you'll need to first set up your central repository, provide the information, the URL, the username, the credentials, and all those things, which your Maven will use, and then it will push it to the central repository. Make sense?
Yes, Ravi.
Yes, sir.
Now, in our case, we'll create one more project. This time we will create a var package. Okay, so again, let me use this mvn archetype : generate. And this time we are going to change the number. So if I go to that number 2099, 20. Yeah, so this is the one, the default one. In our case, we are going to use web app, which is this one. So you can see this Maven web app project. So we are going to use this number. So we'll enter 2104. So 2104. enter. So my group ID can be the same. Your artifact ID would be in this case hello world web app. Enter, confirm, and this will again create a new folder for us. Okay, so there's my new folder. Now let's go to that, and this is what you have. So if we look at the tree of this, this is what we have. Okay, so we have the pom.xml file. So we have the source. So in this case, if you see, I only have the main, I don't have the test. So I have web app, and then I have this index.jsp. So this is where the code I have, the web application. And then this pom.xml file, if you see, now in this pom.xml file, I have specifically specified the packaging. In the jar, we did not specify the packaging. So in this case, I'm telling you, hey, I want to create a var package. So this will force my Maven to create a var package. So again, I'll run this mvn install, and this will again start building the package for me. And in this case, it will create a var package, which is for your web application. So again, it will create a target folder for us. And inside this target folder, I should be able to see my var package. So this is basically how we create your packages. Okay, so this is where we make use of your build tool. So this var package, if you see, this will have everything that I have in the source. So I don't have to worry about the individual files. This package will contain everything for me. Any questions?
No, Ravi.
No, sir.
Now, what do you think would be the next step? We have the package. Now, what's the next step that we'll have to do?
Deploying the var file.
Correct. So, how do we deploy that? So in this case, when we talk about your var packages, we commonly use Tomcat server. Okay, so I'm going to set up a Tomcat server. So let me download Tomcat. I'll quickly show you how you can set that up. So let's download Tomcat. So there's my Tomcat, and we'll download the latest version. So let's go with this tar.gz because we are on the Linux machine. So let's copy this, and we will do a wget. So what is a wget? Wget can be used to download files from the internet. So I'll say wget the file name. So it will go to that URL and then download the file for us. So in our case, the Tomcat has been downloaded. Now it's a zip file, so we'll have to unzip it. So for this, we can use this, or you know what, just to make it a little simple, let me copy this to my Tomcat folder. And just to avoid some confusion because there's so many files. Sorry. Yeah, so there's my Tomcat. Now we are going to unzip this. So we'll use *-xzf and the file name, which will unzip. So let me delete the compressed. We no longer need that. So we have the file over here. Now we will go to this, and here you should be able to see everything. So this web apps that you see, this is where we will have to copy our var package, right? So let me do a copy. My source would be /home/ubuntu hello world target, and then the .var. So that's my source. I want to copy this to my current location, which is my web apps folder. So there I have the package. So I have the package. Now how do we deploy this? We just go and start our Tomcat. So for that, we can go to this bin folder, and we should be able to see this script called catalina.sh. We just run that. So /catalina.sh, and sorry, I'll have to use start, and that should start my Tomcat process. You can check if your process is running by running this ps-ef grep Tomcat, and here is my Tomcat process run. Now, any idea on what port number your Tomcat runs?
No, Ravi.
The Tomcat by default runs on port 8080. Okay, so let's take the server IP, And let's try hitting this on port 8080. So I should be able to see the Tomcat, provided you have allowed in your security group. So there's a version 9.0.85 because this is what we have deployed 9.0.85. But where's my application? This is Tomcat, fine, but where's my application? To access your application, you will need to give the package name. So in our case, the package name, if you see, this will be okay. One more thing I wanted to, so we copied only this var package, right? So when we started the Tomcat service, what it did was it went ahead and deployed this. So now it has basically, it has unzipped it, it has decompressed the file. So if you check in this, you see the package, the files that I had in my source code, I have everything here. So that's basically what your package is. That's basically what your artifact is. It will contain everything needed for your application to run. So in the URL, all we have to do is we just have to give this name and it will basically hit that package for us. Sorry, that's not, you can see hello world. This is essentially what I had in the var package. Let me do this once again. I'll just update the package. We will rebuild it. We will redeploy it. OK, so let's go to the source code once again. So here I have, so let's go to the source. So I have to update my index.jsp. So here you can see this hello world. This is what you're seeing here. So let me update this. So let's say h1. This is the update version of the application. Okay, so let's check that. I'll save this and we will have to rebuild this. Now we can use this. So we were running this mvn install command. In this case, I'll run mvn clean install. Now what this will do is this will delete the old package and build a new package for me. So this will delete the old package and build a new package. I'll run this. So first it will delete the old package for me. So here you should be able to see, you can see this clean. So deleting the target folder and then it will build a new package. So now I should have a new package here. The file names and everything will remain the same. It's just that the code is now updated. Now we will take this and let's go to our Tomcat, Apache web apps. So let's delete this. Okay, so I've deleted that and you will see this folder will also get deleted. So you can see it's gone. Now we will copy the new package. So /home/ubuntu target var. I will copy it here. So it gets deployed automatically because my Tomcat is running. So you can see it's automatically deployed. Now if I refresh this, I should be able to see the updated page. So now anyone can take this package, they can deploy this on the Tomcat and they will get the same application. That's your build process. Make sense?
Yes, Ravi.
That's about the build tool. That's all. That should be sufficient as part of your Maven, and you don't really need to know more than this. But yeah, that's all I have. Any questions, let me know. If not, then I'll quickly talk a bit about your Jenkins.
Ravi, what does the clean install will do?
Right, so let me do it individually so you don't get confused. So if I run mvn clean, it will just delete the target folder. Basically, I'm telling, hey, delete the old package, delete the old artifact. So it will delete the target folder. And then when I do mvn install, it will build a new package.
Okay.
So now clean and install, we are doing it together. So I'm telling, hey, first delete the old package and then build the new package. That's all.
Okay, got it.
So here you can see the output. So when I did mvn clean, so you can see here it says deleting, and what is it? It is deleting. It is deleting the target folder. And when I do an install, it will create. So here you can see building var, and it will create the target folder once again. and then build the var package for me. So I was just passing both the commands together. So first it will delete it and then recreate the new package.
Okay.
All right, now let's talk about your Jenkins. So what do you know about Jenkins? Any idea?
It's a CI/CD tool.
Yes. So Jenkins, or rather any CI/CD tool, that's the heart of your DevOps. Without that, you cannot have automations. So you have different tools. We have Docker, we have Maven, we have Git and GitHub, we have Ansible. All these are different tools. But how do we bring all these tools together? How do we integrate all these tools together? That's where your integration tools come in, which Jenkins is in this case. So likewise, we have different tools. We have GitLab, we have TeamCity, we have Argo CD, we have Jenkins, we have GitHub Actions. We have lots of options that are available, but Jenkins is one of the very popular tool. In my project, we are like any automations we are doing, we are using Jenkins for it. So I would say we are heavily dependent on Jenkins for our automations. You want to automate your build process. You want to automate your deployment process. Let's say you push your code to GitHub. You want to automatically build that code. You want to automatically test it. You want to automatically deploy it. All those things are done by your integration tools. And that's where Jenkins comes in. So let's look at your old ways of how your software development was done. Okay. So in the olden days, any code change which was done by an individual team member, all of these were merged together into working software, and this process is known as an integration phase. So what is integration phase? It is simply like, all of us are the developers, right? So we develop the code. We have to integrate all this code into one single code. So this phase of integrating our code, we call that as an integration phase. Now, in the olden days, all of this was a manual effort. So this it used to take a lot of hard work. So there was a lot of code conflicts. It was very hard to find your bugs, and it was even harder to fix those bugs. And this eventually led to a significant delays in the deliverables. But with today's market, with today's businesses, they need new features to be incorporated in your applications within days or within weeks. They're not ready to wait for months together. And this is where it requires to change the way we develop our softwares. Okay, that's where your CI/CD was introduced. So CI/CD is, okay, we are going to continuously develop, we're going to continuously deploy. So tools and concepts around CI/CD help developers deliver value faster and more transparently. And you might have heard them as continuous integration and continuous delivery. So CI/CD stands for continuous integration and continuous delivery or continuous deployment. So let's understand each of these separately. What is continuous integration and what is continuous deployment? So continuous integration is run automatic code quality scans on it and generate a report of how well your code adheres to good coding practices. So as a developer, whenever we push our code, we want to continuously scan the code to check if the code is good, the code is bad, for the quality. Once that is done, we want to build that code and then run any automated tests that we might have written to make sure the code did not break any functionality. And then third, generate and publish a test coverage report to get an idea of how thorough your automated test was. So these steps, we do it in your continuous integration. So what do we do? Let's say I'm a developer, I push the code. So as part of the continuous integration, the tool should automatically pick that code, scan that code to check the quality of the code. Once that is done, build that code. Once that is done, test the code. Once that is done, publish a test report. All these falls under your continuous integration. And then comes your continuous deployment. So that's your next level of automation. So once you have your build or once you have your artifact ready to deploy, we will go ahead and deploy that to your servers. It could be a testing servers, it could be a production servers or anywhere it is. So that process of continuously deploying the package to the production servers or to your servers, we call that as a continuous deployment. So the aim of your continuous deployment is to reduce the friction points that are inherent in the deployment or release process. So basically, the release process should be smooth. There should not be any friction in the release process. There should not be any blockage. There should not be any problem with the release process. That's where your CI/CD comes in. Make sense? Any questions?
No, Ravi.
Okay. So as I was saying, as a developer, we will push the code. So we want to continuously build that code, publish the package to your Artifactory, test your code, deploy that build. All these things we do it in your continuous integration. So what are the benefits we get out of this? We can catch the issues much faster and nip them in the bud. So before it becomes a major issue, we can contain those issues. Everyone can see what's happening. So there's a proper transparency. We can automate your build process. We can reduce the time taken to build your packages. Stop waiting to find out if your code is going to work or not. CI leads to a continuous deployment, which allows you to deliver your software more rapidly. So continuous integration, it does not really get rid of your bugs, but it does make them dramatically easier to find and remove. So the goal of your continuous integration is not to fix the bugs for you, but identify those bugs much faster and fix those bugs before it becomes a major issue when you deploy them to your production. Right? So Jenkins is the tool that we are going to look at. So like I said, Jenkins is one of the very popular tool we have in the market when we talk about your continuous integration. So Jenkins is a cross-platform continuous integration application, and we can use this tool to build and test our softwares continuously, making it easier for developers to build softwares rapidly. So this Jenkins, it's mainly a continuous integration tool, and this is written in Java. So it's a Java tool. Now this provides continuous integration services for software development, and we can either make use of the UI. So Jenkins has a UI version as well as a CLI version. In our case, we will be looking at your UI version, and Jenkins is completely free to use. It's open source. You don't have to buy any license. Anyone can use it. Anyone can work with it. So it's completely open source. So what are the advantages you get? One, obviously it's open source, and you have a huge community for this. Installation is very easy. And Jenkins is all about your plugins. So it follows a plug and play method. Any tool you want to integrate, there's a plugin available for that. So there are 1,000+ plugins that are available in Jenkins. And also, if you don't find a plugin that you need, it's very easy to create a new Jenkins plugin. And since this tool is written in Java, you can port. It's portable on all the major platforms. So anyway, you can run it. So when we talk about your integration, you can integrate this with any tools you want. Maven, Git, Selenium, Puppet, Ansible, NagOS, AWS, Azure, let's say PowerShell, Linux machines. Any integrations you want to do, you can do it. So, we will be looking at that. I'm going to stop here. In the next session, I'll show you how you can install your Jenkins and then how you can access it. And then slowly we'll start off with giving access, creating jobs, how we can work with those jobs and everything. Okay.
Sure, Ravi.
Okay. What happened?